It is September 27th, 2022 at 12:35 p.m. My name is Aaron. Welcome to Who the Fuck Am I, episode 25. Next week, we'll have been doing this for half a year, so that's pretty cool. It was a pretty good week overall. I guess technically last week because I'm kind of doing this on Tuesday, and which is normally when I upload, but I'm also going to be doing it real quick and then putting it out. But let me catch you up to this point. So last week, just kind of worked through the week, didn't really do much. But made it through that. Ended up my buddy Christoph, who's been one of my best friends since 8th grade. He came up and visited me, and we ended up. He got in on Friday. We watched through all of the Chernobyl series on HBO, which is like really good. Actually, it's pretty damn accurate, and even like their fallacies, they like point out why they made those decisions and stuff at the end, and kind of make sure you understand like at least some more of the history, which is really good. And yeah, I liked it a lot. If you want to know more about Chernobyl, go watch it. It's pretty cool. I think the only thing that I saw that they didn't do 100% right was the effects, or like the severity of the radiation poisoning. They like overdid it a little bit, but I mean the people did die. But yeah, yeah. If you want to know more about like radiation and RBMK reactor and how they actually work, you can watch that. It's 5 episodes. You can burn it in a day if you're just bored. And then Saturday we actually hung out with his family on Rainbow River. Ended up doing a float down the river with his sister and her boyfriend Blaine. And yeah, it was a good time. We just chilled. Oh, I realized I didn't mention it on the last 2 weeks, or at least I don't think I have. Maybe I did. Oh. But like my actual contract with the Marine Corps is like over. So it's technically like 8 years, and it's been 8 years since I went in. Because you do like 4 years active and then 4 years inactive. So that's dope. My indentured servitude is now finally at an end. So that's pretty cool. They can't call me back if anything pops off now. But yeah. And then Sunday was a whole day with we had a barbecue. It was myself, my buddy Carl, Morgan, and Christoph. Since we've all been friends about around the same time. So we've known each other a while. But we ended up having a lot of good food. Carl brought some fish because he had just gone fishing. Christoph actually ended up preparing it. I just did burgers because my buddy Morgan got given a 5 pound log of fucking meat of just ground beef, I guess. And yeah, we just we grilled that shit up. And yeah, this is what it looked like. I ended up just getting chips and fruit for sides, and I think we did baked potatoes on the grill, and then we just did some pan fried potatoes as well. It turned out pretty good, and we also watched Andor, which fucking sucked actually. The first 3 episodes were so boring that each one of us probably fell asleep throughout it, and yeah. It was very disappointing because you could have just put all 3 episodes probably into one episode. Because they're just introducing you to people that I think just aren't gonna be there in the next episode or soon. I don't know. Kind of feels like it was pretty pointless. But like yeah, we're at the same point where we started. And then what else? What else? Oh yeah, and then why I'm actually doing this now. So, I went to work yesterday, and now there's apparently a hurricane. I don't generally keep track of hurricanes. I live in Florida, but I mean I don't care. I grew up here, and they're never generally actually that bad. But I went to work yesterday, and they basically were like, "Yeah, we're gonna give you Tuesday off so you can prep your house, and then Wednesday and maybe Thursday, and then possibly Friday." I don't mind. I still want to work a little bit because I don't know how much they're actually going to be paying us. But yeah, so I have the next couple days off, and since he just left like 20 minutes ago. I don't know, when did I start this? 5 minutes ago? Yeah, he left like 20 minutes ago. So yeah, I figured since he's going to be here yesterday and I could just record this today, I'll just hang out with him. But yeah, I was actually planning on doing this earlier in the day. Like I planned on waking up at 8, which that didn't happen. I ended up getting up at like 10. And then he was supposed to leave like an hour ago. So I'm supposed to be like an hour ahead, but that's not how it's going. But it's fine. But yeah. Oh yeah. And also let me tell you about this chick that I saw while I was getting off work. She's driving with an ice cream cone in one hand and and her phone in another. And I was sitting there. I was like, if you're gonna kill yourself, choose one way or another. Don't do it like don't. It's cumulative at that point. You're definitely gonna die. Fucking diabetes and just fucking texting and driving. And then oh yeah, and because of the hurricane, everyone's freaking out about fucking gas. I found one station that had gas and everything, but yeah. It's gonna be chill. It should hit me Wednesday at like 8 p.m. I think is what the map saw. I don't know. I'll see the most recent updates whenever I do this. And yeah, but it was a good day. Oh, and I didn't put out a normal video this week because I ended up I recorded Dead Space 3. I was just gonna make a whole thing about me recording like a 8-9 year old game or some shit, and then I was going back through it, and that game's so fucking loud that you just couldn't hear a damn thing. Back in the ground. Oh, I'm fighting off a fucking dude with an axe.
So like all these trying to kill all these people off you?
So that didn't come out, but I have all this free time, so I'll record something and make sure I get it out. And then I'm also gonna change. I'm gonna just call it TV time because I just talk about the shows that I'm fucking watching. But now I'm just gonna add spoilers. So at this point, if you want to skip to any of these times, if you haven't seen any of them, go ahead. But yeah, there's your warning. Gonna start with fucking She-Hulk. We're on episode 6, Just Jen. I wrote down some of my complaints about it. It's getting worse as we go. Like each episode, like I liked the first episode. It kind of had its issues and it was a little like wonky, but like they're just like really leaning into like not getting better. Because all right, so my first complaint is the fucking the fourth wall breaks. They're kind of just thrown in, like they don't seem to understand where they need to be put into the story. Like and they do it at the very beginning and then not at all. So they do one at the beginning where she introduces the fact that it's a wedding episode, and then they don't do it again. And at one point she gets her ass kicked through a fucking wall and like laid the fuck out. And I would have fucking fourth wall broke right there. And I was like, that bitch just fucking hit me. Or something. There was like 3 or 4 different moments that I was like, oh, fourth wall break would be awesome right here. It's like you get to reflect on the character and you get to engage with the audience. Be like, damn, that fucking hurt. Or like express like what just happened. And then the lawyers. So they have a great premise for this episode. I was actually really excited for like because they seem to be doing a main issue with Jen and then a side thing with the extra lawyers, like some supernatural whatever the fuck. Which they have a guy named Mr. Immortal, or he calls himself Mr. Immortal, and he has a regenerative ability where he just doesn't die. And over time, he's had multiple wives, and he's trying to get divorced from all of them. But he's faked his death almost every single time because rather than be in a room with a woman, he'll just jump out a window or just walk into traffic. But the 2 lawyers that they have on him, both just like while he's explaining the whole situation, are constantly chastising him and like being like super judgmental over the case. Like you have like as a lawyer, you can like behind closed doors, you can call them like your client a fucking idiot and stuff. But when you're just taking a case and everything, it's like when you're just, I don't know. They like weren't fighting for him because at one point they even start talking to the wives and taking their gripes over his and start making worse deals for him, which didn't fucking make sense at all. And it had such a good setup and the resolution was such shit. even like the wedding episode was all Jin just wanted to show that she was doing well, but only anyone cares about is She-Hulk and whatnot. And it didn't really make sense for the most part. Like, and she ends up fighting she ends up fighting fucking Titania. It's pretty early on that fucking Titania is in the episode, so it doesn't fucking matter. She ends up fighting Titania, and it's like the most pitiful fucking fight scene I've seen. And it ends with her falling on her face and getting recorded and being like, "Are you gonna send this to your 11 Instagram followers?" And then also, apparently, Jin's main bad guy now is fucking Redditors. It's like they're just like squandering this whole fucking thing. I don't get it. Like, I wanted to see at least Titania get her ass kicked, or at least show that she doesn't just sucker punch her while she's normal Jin. They're making the characters like impossible to like. So I don't know. I'm gonna keep watching it, but I'm gonna keep giving my honest opinion. It has like very little like gleams of like, oh, this isn't that bad in the middle of everything. Like at one point, while Mr. Immortal's fucking getting like berated by both the female lawyers, like to the point where he couldn't get a word in edgewise, like at a single point in time, he just jumps out the fucking window and like as if he was gonna kill himself, which was great. Which I was literally sitting there watching it and thinking the exact same thing, like, Jesus Christ, I'd rather jump out a window than be in a room with those two women. But yeah, I think they could just make it so good. They're just making the characters so hard to like. And then yeah, that's so far my opinion of She-Hulk. It was probably the worst one to watch this week. I'm gonna go ahead and start doing that. I'm gonna start telling you which is the worst one this week and which one's probably the best one to watch. And then Rings of Power. It was a episode 5, Partings. It was okay. It's might as well be called Betrayals because Elrond's kind of being a cuck. And so the king is also kind of a bit like the elves are being fucking. They're definitely out for themselves in this whole thing. And like even like I don't know, Elrond was becoming like so likable, but now he's kind of becoming a shitty person. Like the only good character in the show right now is Durin, because even Galadriel is kind of being super stuck up still. Maybe not stuck up, but like I like her character, and I could kind of see that as a young elf, like being like very rambunctious and whatnot. But at the same time, with how we see her in the like Lord of the Rings, I just don't know if that was her at the time. I don't know. I have an issue with how strong she is, I think. Maybe? I don't think that's my issue with her. I don't know. I'll think about it this week, and then next week I'll have a more formulated fucking opinion on like why I'm not like enjoying her character as much. And then other characters that are even like Nori, like they're kind of ruining because she keeps abandoning her family to fucking help this dude, and like the family is actually like needs her. Like it's which I'm pretty sure the dude is Sauron. That's like my whole thing on it. And oh yeah, and the son of the Night's Watch dude, I don't even know his name because I don't like him. He's trying to stow away, and then ends up stopping the guildsman's whatever the fuck son from blowing up the ship, but the ship blows up and then they end up covering for each other. But this is after he's already like ruined two of his friends' chances to be in this very prestigious thing that he voluntarily quit because he's a pussy, and now he wants to go on the whole fucking adventure with them. He's definitely like my least favorite character, and the fact that he's even still in the show, I don't even want to see his character arc where he becomes good because I just don't like him at this point. Honestly, I want to see him get killed. And Durin's the only like good, like Durin's my favorite character in the whole thing so far. He's done nothing but like be like, you went away for 20 years and didn't say shit to me. Why the fuck should you be my friend? He ends up forgiving him, fucking has dinner at his house, and then the motherfucker Elrond starts snooping around, and fucking when he clearly doesn't want him to find out what he's doing. I don't know. I didn't. Elrond was like cool, and then like they made like this. They literally made a fucking like deal in the last episode, and he immediately is just 100% willing to break it in this one. It like the only like redeeming factor was that he talked to Durin first, which you get to see Durin with like a silk like thing on, and he looks like a he looks. I don't know. I love Durin. He's pretty cool. More doors. Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna give it. It was an okay episode. I think it's all depends on where they go with it, on whether or not it's a good episode. And then last but not least, actually this week was fucking House of the Dragon, episode 6, The Princess and the Queen. This is the first time we're seeing the new actresses, which I think they're playing. We had a 10-year time skip, and I think they're playing their characters really well for being 10 years of built up getting disgruntled towards each other. Rhaenyra has a new boy toy, and she's popped out 3 fucking kids with him, which is kind of where the story starts. And yeah, she's just fucking she's oh yeah, and now the queen has another son too. So we got Aegon and Aemon, which are like the only ones that I remember. And Aegon at this point, he's pretty cool. He's kind of, I mean, I'm not cool. He's kind of a dickhead. He's kind of becoming like the dickhead sibling. And at one point, he's seen like up at like the highest point on his tower, fucking jerking off. So I don't know. I'm liking him. Aemon is kind of a punk. He doesn't have a dragon. And then what else? Oh yeah, and then you have the 3 kids that Rhaenyra's had with the new guy who is the Hand's son. So the current Hand has 2 kids, which is one's the cripple, and then the new boy toy. So far, the cripple is actually probably my favorite character. He seems like the most ruthless in the show, and he's kind of setting up this. They show him setting up his network of spies in this. But the son, the Night's Watch, the father son, father son dude, it basically reveals that he is the son to pretty much everyone, because Sir Cole, after the events of the whole wedding, is now he was cunt controlled first by by Rhaenyra, but now he is firmly pussy whipped by the queen. And I'm pretty sure that they're fucking, because the queen at one point alludes like if she was in the same situation you would do the same thing or something, and instantly denies it, like no I wouldn't, like she's already fucking the dude. Cole seems very familiar with her too, and because they're pretty buddy now, because he seems to be her right hand guard and no longer Rhaenyra's. So it's I think they're fucking, and then Viserys also just looks like shit. Like he looks like he should be dying. But yeah. They do it must have been the scene the week for like 2-on-1 sword fighting with someone that's better than you, because in Rings of Power they had it, and in fucking House of the Dragon. But they have Cole basically fight both the Targaryen boys, so both of Viserys' sons, and then they put up Aegon versus Rhaenyra's oldest. And he just lets him like kick the shit out of him, and then the Night's Watch dude, the father son, jumps in and fucking honestly punks fucking Cole. Like Cole, like I thought he wasn't trying to fight back at first, but then I checked it out again, and he was getting kind of punked. Kind of made him look like a bitch. But they basically end it with the Hand tries to resign, so the father, and he gets denied by Viserys, and instead the hand is like, all right, well, the best I can do is get my son away from the princess, so they stop fucking. So he wants to send him back to their like ancestral wherever the fuck they're supposed to be in charge of. But the king keeps him as hand. And then we also find out that the cripple, I'm gonna call him the secrets dude, is now very good friends with the queen and tells her basically all the happenings of the castle. And he doesn't like that, or the queen expresses that she doesn't like that the hand is still there, and so he takes it upon himself to kill his father, and that's kind of where they leave us at the end of the episode. Oh no! And then last thing, Damon. Fuck, I forgot. Fucking Maddie Smith. He's now betrothed to the one chick. I don't even know her name because I think she was in 2 episodes. 3 episodes. But he has 2 daughters now. One has an egg that hasn't hatched, and then his wife is a dragon rider and is currently pregnant, and ends up having the second kid, but she doesn't have the second kid. It was just complications in childbirth, so she was probably gonna die. But she wants to have a dragon rider's death, so then she goes out and kills herself by having her dragon torture in front of Damon. Which Damon, at this point when we see him, actually seems pretty happy with wanting to just get away from the dynasty right now. But he's also constantly in the studies, reading books on the Targaryens and their accomplishments. So it seems like he's almost just biding time before he goes back to rule. But at the end of the episode, we get a looks like heartbroke fucking Damon, who is now a single father to two daughters. Yeah, so he lost his wife and his kid, which at first, and oh, there was one thing that was pretty cool, where he gets given the same decision as Viserys for like his wife, like to try a C-section, which women just didn't survive back then, and he said no, I believe. It looked like he shook his head no. But yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna want to rewatch it, but I'm gonna say he shook his head no. But yeah, House of the Dragon's going pretty good. I like it a lot. I just hope that they don't fuck it up like Game of Thrones. But what else? Yeah, I think that's... Oh, and the last thing that I wanted to fucking talk about was not this episode, but last episode with Kisses and Cole, where he ends up killing the Knight of Kisses that's fucking Laenor. So that scene starts with Daemon and Rhaenyra, and Daemon getting real touchy-feely with fucking Rhaenyra. So, how did it end up being Kisses and Cole? Because how I worked it out is it starts with Daemon and Rhaenyra, and the first thing that would probably happen is maybe Kisses tries to defend Rhaenyra because he just had that whole scene with Cole where he's talking about we have to defend them. So maybe Daemon and Kisses rushes, gets in Daemon's way, and then Daemon kills Kisses. That would make sense. Or Laenor comes and it ends up being Daemon and Laenor. Or Cole tries to break it up and it ends up being Cole and Daemon. Or even Laenor and Cole would make sense because maybe Laenor comes up and fucking hits fucking him away, and then it ends up being Cole too because he gets confused. But the only way that I could see that it becomes Cole and Kisses, and this is how I worked it out. So we start off with Daemon and Rhaenyra. Daemon starts getting touchy-feely, and Laenor rushes to help. Cole then punches Laenor. So the only thing that I can think of is they both rushed. Daemon dipped, dive, and ducked. And then after seeing that it was Daemon that had his hands on Rhaenyra, he punches Laenor. And then Kisses doesn't like that and rushes to help, or rushes to fucking fight Cole. And then Cole just goes apeshit on him and starts beating the shit out of Kisses. And then Kisses is dead, and it's Kisses and Cole. And then Daemon's gone. Oh, and Rhaenyra gets carried away by the one dude. Like, what? Any other way they chose that, Daemon and Kisses, Daemon and Laenor, Daemon and Cole, Laenor and Cole, makes more sense than it ending up being Kisses and Cole. That's all I'm saying. But all right. And then the last thing I am actually going to go over is The Last of Us just had a trailer drop, which is what we're going to watch real quick. I never actually played through it myself. I never had a PlayStation. I was always an Xbox kid, but I watched PewDiePie play through it. And but it basically it's like a post-apocalyptic world where you play Joel, who's a smuggler, who ends up his cargo that he has to smuggle is a girl named Ellie, and he has to basically take her from point A to point B. And there's basically a virus that makes people like super fucked up and shit. But I every week I just search like new trailers to see what I can get, and I saw that they were making HBO was doing a Last of Us trailer, which had the Mandalorian or Pedro Pascal in it. So I figured we could just watch this real quick, and then that would be all of it because I had a lot to talk about. Oh, I just realized I almost fucked up. My audio's not right. Give me just a second. All right, now you should be able to hear. Second verse, same as the first.
The roses have faded, there's frost at my door. The birds in the morning don't sing anymore. The grass in the valley is starting to die, and out in the darkness the whippoorwills cry. The darkness is falling, the sky has turned gray. A hound in the distance is starting to fade. Alone and forsaken by fate and by man. Oh Lord, if you hear me, please hold my hand. Alone and forsaken by fate and by man. Oh Lord,
this is your chance.
hear me, please hold my hand.
Our best shot.
Hold my hand.
You keep her alive.
Hold my hand. Please hold my hand.
And you set everything right.
Hold my hand. Please hold my hand.
Save who you can save.
Oh, please understand.
Looks good. Pedro's really just fucking throwing his weight around with fucking acting recently. He did this. He did The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. He was just in what else was he in? Oh yeah, he was in Game of Thrones, but The Mandalorian, Narco. He was in Wonder Woman. And then The New Kingsman. Yeah, really throwing his weight around with acting, but it looks good. I think, as long as they follow the story, unlike other shows that we won't talk about, then I think they should be good. Yeah, that's all it really takes, right? Is that's all. That's all. Like, I think most of us want to see is we just want to see what we grew up playing on the screen. And when they try to take it into their own hands to tell their own story, that's just not what we know. It's just tough, especially when they tell it like shit. But yeah, I think that's gonna be all for my week. It was good talking to y'all. Episode 25. I think I'm gonna keep this thing going. But have a good one. Deuce.